And so I founded this company called Strike. You may know it, you may not. But the whole thesis behind the company is to take advantage that Bitcoin fixes this. We want to make cross-border payments free. I didn't launch in Europe yet. I want to make cross-border payments free to solve the remittance problem and the financial inclusivity problem and the absolute mess that the Federal Reserve is causing to those that need it most. El Salvador is a great example. It's a country that uses the dollar because in a civil war they lost their own currency. It's a country where over 20% of the GDP is inbound remittance. It's how capital is influxed into the economy. However, of that GDP, fees can be upwards to 50%. And the true crime is that there's over 2 million Salvadorians that live in the United States. And people are leaving because of the economic instability and the lack of economic support. The lack of economic opportunity. What that does is it causes individuals to rely on crime and violence, and it ruins the security of the country. And it's generated a tremendous immigration problem. But if you rewind those steps, if you can fix the money, you can fix the world. If we can provide economic stability, economic opportunity, financial inclusion, and if we can build an asset that is defended by an open distributed network, and we have cyber hornets that will fight on that hill and die on that hill and protect it, and we can fix that, then they won't have to resort to crime and violence. They won't be subject to the intermediary financial system that's taking 50% of their remittance. They won't have immigration problems, and they can love the country that they were born in. And I remember we built the first MVP, and my CBO, who's the most successful guy, he's so smart, it's like, all right, let's launch in Europe. And I was like, you're out of your mind, man. I got to go to El Salvador. That's what this is all about. This is all about helping those that need it. I'll beat TransferWise later. And I went and I lived there. I lived there for almost 3 months. Sorry. I tried to collect a remittance payment. I couldn't do it. The ATM didn't work. It was a lot of dirt roads, and it was sad. There just wasn't a lot of hope. I gave talks. I talked to the kids. I told them, man, we got this. Bitcoin's here. We got this. And I'll tell one story. There's a guy, his name's Chimbera, and I spent a few days with them. It was my first week there. He sat me down, and I said, you know, my grandfather was a fisherman, and my dad was a fisherman, and I thought I was going to be a fisherman. I'm not like you. You got a Chase bank account. You get a debit card. I fish. Nothing more, nothing less. Until Bitcoin, man. Like, I got hope. I scan the same QR codes you do. When Bitcoin goes up 10%, Michael Saylor makes a lot of money. So do I. So do I. Chimbera's never had a bank account, but he's got a Bitcoin wallet. Chimbera's never had a savings account, but he's got a hardware wallet. Chimbera saw that this is financial inclusion, that this is a network and a monetary system that doesn't hold any bias, and there's no intermediary that could tell him that he's not allowed. And we did something amazing here. And we were onboarding 20,000 Salvadorans a day, and most of them didn't have bank accounts. And boy, the remittance was free. Remittance was instant. Lightning Network works, man. The Lightning Network works. And in real time, we were improving the GDP of the country. And so then I got a message on behalf of the president of the country. And he wanted to talk. And I called my dad. Just gonna piss my pants. But we talked. This guy's name is Yusuf. And we talked about life. We talked about anime. Talked about how to provide a high quality of life to everyone in the world, about financial inclusivity, about human freedoms and where we lost them and how we can reinstill them. We talked about the world we want to live in and the fact that we build the tools that shape the world that we end up living in. And I met more of the government, and I became friends with the security guards. It's a big rifle. And they dropped some really heavy stuff on me. Over 70% of the active population in El Salvador doesn't have a bank account. They're not in the financial system. They had a huge problem of financial inclusivity and providing their citizens with basic human freedom. And so they asked me to help write a bill, and that they viewed Bitcoin as a world-class currency, and that we needed to put together a Bitcoin plan to help these people and give them hope and give them a quality of life, and that you can live where you're born in, you don't have to leave, and when you send money home, they're not going to take fucking half of it. And I worked really hard, and I lived there, and I got to know the community, and I made friends that I hope will be at my wedding someday. And so with all that being said, I'd like to invite now someone I've spent some time with to share a message.
My name is Nayib Bukele, and I'm president of El Salvador. Great ideas are beautiful and have great power. But like most beautiful things, they can also be more fragile than we think. When I was a kid, we thought about the future and we were delighted by its possibilities. We couldn't wait for it to happen and be part of its creation. But now, ask almost anyone what they think about the future, and they will say something along the lines of nuclear war, climate catastrophe, hunger, pestilence, the death of life. We didn't take care of the beautiful idea that we create our own future, that we as humanity can do almost anything that we imagine. Our ingenuity, what separates us from other species. In El Salvador, we are trying to rescue this idea and start the design of a country for the future, using the best ingredients that makes us who we are, while using sensibility to find the best examples of ideas from history and around the world. I believe Bitcoin could be one of these ideas. That is why next week, I will send to Congress a bill that will make Bitcoin a legal tender in El Salvador. In the short term, this will generate jobs and help provide financial inclusion to thousands outside the formal economy. And in the medium and long term, we hope that this small decision can help us push humanity at this tiny bit into the right direction. I enjoy politics to leave a legacy for my country, but while doing it, and by working with like-minded people, maybe we can help create a legacy for the world.